Welcome, everybody. It is 6 o'clock, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. We might wait just a couple more seconds, see if anyone else is joining, and then we'll get going to our agenda ahead. So thank you so much to the folks that are joining us. Just a quick overview of our agenda this evening. We're going to start with a quick introduction, then we'll move on to a project overview, and then we will have some time at the end for some public Q&A or comments. So since it is 6, we'll go ahead and get started. Just would like to mention today that our project planner is here with us, Steve Lee, if he would like to say any brief words.
Yeah, I'm an associate planner with the City of Santa Clara, and project planner just got assigned to this project here. My information later will be posted on the presentations for you to contact me if you have any questions on this project. Today is the developers hosting the meeting, going overview of the project design and answering any questions you have. So I'll be here listening in and taking notes. Thank you.
So much. All right. And my name is Alexa Dack. I am an architect and associate at Dolan Group Architecture and Planning. Tonight, we are also joined by Senior Principal Lori Moffett-Felber from Dolan Architecture and Planning and Project Advisor Pete Curio of Silicon Valley Advisors. So with that, we will go ahead and jump into tonight's presentation. Give me a minute to share my screen. Okay, I believe you should all be seeing our presentation now. So thank you so much. Again, we'd like to really welcome everybody. We appreciate your time being here tonight, and we thank you for your interest in the project. We really welcome community involvement and appreciate everybody's honest feedback here tonight. On behalf of the developer, I'm going to be presenting for you today. So the project will be developed by CRP Affordable Housing and Community Development. A little bit about the developer. They identify communities where housing needs are unmet and work toward solutions. They are committed to the Bay Area and have new family housing communities in many of the surrounding locations. And they strive to use innovative design, sustainable and energy efficient construction to address community civic, transportation, and environmental concerns, which we will touch on in a little more detail later this evening. Depending on the number of you here today, it looks like we have a little bit fewer, but we may limit the public comment period to 2 minutes, just so everybody has a chance to participate in this evening's presentation. And a little bit more about CRP with their mission to provide quality communities that are safe, secure, and affordable. As with all of their projects, they're really excited to the commitments we're going to be making on this one that we'll discuss in more detail with solar PV, some of the water and electric usage on this project. And while this particular project is designed for large family housing, they also do other projects that serve senior, veteran, special needs, farm workers, and others. And they're very committed to developing high quality housing for our Bay Area communities. As you might know, the units here will be restricted to families at certain income levels. This is a chart representing what the income levels will be proposed as for the project. This is based on median income levels determined by HUD. Each bedroom size and each AMI has different rents for different income levels of the families living here. He's provided an example of the typical family of 4 that might move into a 3-bedroom unit whose annual household income might be equal to or less than $82,500. Their rent would be about $21,500 per month. And as you can see, there are a range of bedroom counts proposed in this project: 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And with that short introduction to CRP and a little bit of the affordability levels of the project, we will dive into more of the design and architecture. So just to give some context to the project site, this really shows us the scale that our project is surrounded by. The project site is highlighted in yellow on this image. It is bound on the south. That horizontal thoroughfare is Stevens Creek Boulevard, and to the west is Buckingham Drive. You can see that we are surrounded by some quite significant and high-density housing. There is most notably a large multifamily project to our north, and the other sites surrounding us are other multifamily projects and commercial sites. So our project does not directly abut any single-family residential. This is a look at the site plan and the first floor for the project. The the only vehicular access actually is off Buckingham Drive, and this maintains what currently exists on the site. So we are taking advantage of that existing vehicular access point that is already there for the new proposed project. Out on Stevens Creek frontage, which is this area to the south of the image you're looking at, we've really worked to enhance the storefront and activate that street front out on Stevens Creek. So the residential amenities that occur on this floor, such as the lobby space, the interior mail, secured bike room, on-site management offices, and some additional resident flex space are all pushed toward the south so that they can activate that street frontage. And then other utilities, things like parking that we prefer to screen from the public's view, are located to the north. This will have a secured parking garage for the residents. This is the second floor podium level. This is one of the levels of the project that has the biggest concentration of the residential amenities. Things like one of the laundry facilities, the main multi-purpose community room, and then also the outdoor podium courtyard, which is secured in the building. So the community room will take advantage of some indoor-outdoor opportunities. It will have some doors that can spill out onto the exterior podium courtyard. And here you see some inspiration images. The podium courtyard will have some play areas for kids of different ages, barbecue, different seating, and lounge areas as well for different opportunities out there. This is a look at the Stevens Creek elevation design of the building. So again, we're looking at that south side. The building is 6 stories. As we review, that ground floor is predominantly parking and residential amenities. The upper floors are predominantly residential units with some other amenities sprinkled throughout. In addition to some of the ones we've already covered, there are additional flex spaces, additional laundry facilities, and a teen room as well that are planned for the project. Here you can also see the definition of that ground level here with some nice storefront and awnings that really differentiate and activate that street front level. There are also 59 units. That was on the sheet earlier, but in case you didn't catch that, this is proposing 59 units of affordable housing. And a look at the Buckingham Drive elevation. Here again, this is the vehicular point of access to the site. We're really taking cues architecturally from the surrounding neighborhood and being thoughtful about the color palettes that are being used as well. A more contemporary architectural style suits the neighborhood context that we are around here, and also looked at the palette that we're using to make sure we can be harmonious with the neighborhood. A little bit about the energy criteria we're proposing on the project is that this will be a fully electric building. Also, rooftop solar PV will be provided with the goal of offsetting about 15% of the electric usage. The project is also going to exceed Title 24 California requirements by about 16.6% and is anticipated a water savings in excess of 60% of Santa Clara's baseline. More specifically, in the colors and materials that we've chosen for the project, here you can see the palette a little bit closer, but there's also a mix of materials in both finish and texture to add to the variety on the building. So we have some metal box rib panel siding. There will also be painted stucco and fiber cement panels for a variety of texture as you walk along the building. There will also be some metal ornamentation in the awnings down at the ground floor on Stevens Creek and some of the project signage. And we wanted to conclude with the perspective rendering. This would be as if you were across the street looking at that corner of Stevens Creek and Buckingham Drive. Here you can see the articulation of the building itself, which is then further enhanced by those colors and materials that were selected. And with that, I believe we are prepared to open the floor for public questions and comments. if you could please raise your hand and we will unmute you for your 2 minutes to speak. And if you have dialed in, you should be able to hit *9 to unmute yourself.
Alexa, I'm just wondering if you can review or if you have a slide that would show the community members that are here tonight about the entitlement process and the state laws that you may be utilizing so they understand the framework of the entitlement process.
Let me just stop sharing. So we don't have a slide on that, but we are currently working with the city to define the entitlement process for this. We did take advantage of AB 1763, which relates to some of the parking ratios on the project, and also pursued SB 330. And with that, if anybody who has a question or comment, please feel free to raise your hand. Okay, I see we have one hand up by Kelly Price, so we will go ahead and unmute you, and you can have 2 minutes to share or speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I'm new to this. I'm just curious, is this already an approved project within the city of Santa Clara? Or are you, so I guess just give me more background about that, because I know there's many residents that are opposed to any kind of development and any kind of, especially quote unquote affordable housing. And I know that some other projects, for example, for the homeless, those all got shut down pretty quickly. I'm just curious about this one. Has it been approved, or are you still going through that process of approval?
We are still going through that process of approval with the city. And just to clarify, this project will be family housing.
Great, thank you. I'm supportive.
Thank you. If anyone else would like to ask a question or comment, again, please feel free to raise your hand.
Alexa?
Yes.
Did you talk in your earlier presentation about the amenities for the project itself? I think you might have mentioned that, but I wasn't sure.
We did touch on those. We do have a variety of community spaces throughout the building. Again, many of them concentrated around the ground and second floor, with a few also scattered on the upper floors as well. So community spaces, on-site management offices, laundry facilities, secured bicycle parking, teen rooms, variety, and then of course the wonderful courtyard secured space for the residents as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll just mention one more time if anybody would like to. Oh, there, I see a hand has come up. So we will unmute William, and you will have 2 minutes to comment or ask your question. We should be able to.
Hey, hello. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I just have a general question about like affordable housing developments in this area. So I wonder, are there any mechanisms in place to ensure like the ongoing accountability of these projects once they're built? Because I'm sure like everybody, like those who will be living in them and the neighbors who will be very interested in making sure like they become like an ongoing success, right? We don't want something to be built and then just people just don't care about it anymore. That wouldn't be good. So that's mainly my question. What is the ongoing accountability that provides an incentive for the developers to make sure it becomes like an ongoing success?
So I would either defer to Steve on that.
Alexa, I can take a little bit of that too. Generally for affordable housing, there is an on-site management component that's even more robust than most multifamily projects that are market rate. We do have a manager's unit. We do have on-site management offices. It is a secured building, and the affordability is locked in for, I'm not really sure on this one if it's 55 or perpetuate, whatever that word is, I'm trying to say. So they actually are very well maintained, well managed, and so they tend to be very successful for the long term. Unfortunately, our developer was unable to get his technology to work and be his friend this evening. So we are fielding those questions. We will provide Steve Lay from the City of Santa Clara's contact information for any additional questions or follow-up to the end of tonight's community meeting as well. And so if you have additional questions along these types of lines, please forward them to him and he'll get them back to the development team as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers it. But I guess like if I'm allowed a quick follow-up, is just so for the market rate apartments, like the kind of the market force is an accountability mechanism. You could think about it that way, right? If it's managed poorly, then they will have trouble attracting tenants, and then they will go bankrupt. But I don't think I see the same kind of accountability, because I do see like anecdotal reports coming out of San Jose about some like affordable apartments turning into basically very poorly managed. So I don't want to see it happening here. That's mainly my concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I will share our project planner's information in the meantime here for us. Should there be follow-up, questions can be directed to our project planner at this email address, and they will get routed to the appropriate team member. All right, I see we have a hand up. I will be unmuting, I believe it's Deepa. Apologize if I pronounced that wrong. You should be able to speak.
Yeah, hi, my name is Deepa, and my question is like, how many % of units here will be for homeless people?
So this is a family housing project. So I'll go back to our AMI screen here again. So it's designed to cater to family households at this particular project.
So none of the units will be for the people who have AMI below 30%?
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, I see one more hand up, so we'll be unmuting. I'm seeing the name Leap. Should be able to speak.
Hello. Yes. Sorry. My name is Eric Lee. Sorry, I didn't get my nickname to show up properly there. Thanks so much for doing this tonight. I think these outreach programs are very important for those of us who are interested in the topic. I just had a follow-up now that you're looking at the AMI chart here. My question's actually, I guess, relatively simple in the sense that I'm just curious when these criteria are set. Obviously, this is what it's set at today in terms of the criteria for the expected tenants of the building. Is there a process to change this in the future, or is this something that's intended to remain in perpetuity for the lifetime of the development? So I'm thinking long term, like, is this what we see today? Can this be changed either during the process, or is this something that could change in 10 years? How is that managed with these types of affordable housing projects?
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay. Thank you for your question. So this is Gloria Shara, Development Review Officer with the City of Santa Clara.
Yeah.
So essentially, all the projects have to go through that are affordable, build with the affordable proposals. They have to go through what's called an AHA, and that's an affordable housing agreement. It's coordinated through our housing division, which is part of community development. And essentially, those agreements basically would state the parameters for the levels of affordability, the number of units, that kind of thing. And it goes to city council and actually gets approved. So it's a contract between the operating group who is building the project and the city. And so in order to change that, they would have to go back to amend that agreement. And so there is follow-up to confirm that the levels of affordability, that kind of thing, are continuing to be implemented with the project. So we have housing officer, and they do get reports on a periodic basis to verify that they are complying with the affordability agreement, as well as that there is monitoring that those that are basically residing that are qualifying on an annual basis, that they are within those income levels so that those units go to the appropriate families.
Got it. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Looks like Kelly may have had a hand up again. I think we've got time, so we can go ahead and unmute you. You should be able to speak.
Hello? Did you guys hear my question?
We can hear you now.
Okay. I was just curious about what the time frame is once this is, I guess for everything, the approval and then once it's approved, how long will it take to actually get built, or what's the expectation?
I think that would be best deferred either to our planner, Steve Lee, or possibly even our developer. So you could also send that question over to our planner and we can follow back up with the answer to your question.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
Steve, do you want to respond to that? I know that the developer gave us a timeline, and due to the funding cycles that are needed to basically construct the project, I believe they wanted to secure entitlements by the end of January. And so we're working towards that goal.
Right.
Steve, do you have any other information?
Yeah, I don't have the specific dates. I was wondering if the developer would be sharing that information, but it is the tentative looking for January approval. And then construction time is really up to when the developer get that financing to begin that process. We don't have that information regarding the construction timeline.
It looks like Leap has another question. Alexa, do you want to unmute them?
I think they.
Unless that was a hand that.
Oh no, sorry. I never lowered.
Okay.
I just realized that the button looks like it didn't unpress itself.
Okay.
There's a couple of people. Let's see. I apologize. I thought I saw something that they put an indicator. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Steve, do we have a project web page? I think it was supposed to be created. Do you know if we have that?
Yes, we do have a project web page. Let me send it over to Alexa so she can maybe add it onto this slide since we have some time here. Because we don't have the chat box open, so I'll have to do that.
So to everybody, the city maintains various web pages for projects. So that would be contact information, copies of the plans that are submitted, elevations, as you saw, like renderings, that kind of thing, and other information regarding like the parking, details of that nature. So if there's something, maybe Pete or Alexa, if you want to let the developers know, since there's been inquiries as to other projects, sometimes some of our other developers post links to other projects that they have constructed in the vicinity or in the Bay Area. And so that residents can take a look at these other projects and get familiar with the product type and the scope of the portfolio that the developers have. And it just gives more information regarding what they can expect for this future project.
All right, Alexa, I just sent it to you. You can just add it onto that slide and restart that presentation so people can see it.
Yes, just one moment.
Are there any more questions? Can you please use the raise your hand tool? Otherwise, we could wrap up if there's no other questions.
Yeah, but just right before we wrap up, if we can just share that webpage.
Mm-hmm.
And as a wrap up, I just want to express for the entire team and on behalf of the effort here, we appreciate people taking the time this evening. As Alexa mentioned up front, everybody's busy and we do appreciate you coming out and spending a little time with us and learning about the project. I mean, they're important projects as affordable housing, and we do appreciate the effort that folks make to be here. So thank you for being here with us.
Looks like we did have one more hand up. So I think, Eric, you should be able to unmute.
Hello? Oh, hey, since we have some time, I just flipped through the project site and I was looking at the drawings and I was just a little confused. Does this site incorporate commercial on the ground floor, or is that just a sort of facade to match the neighborhood? Because I don't see it clearly like delineated commercial space. So that was really the question.
Correct. Can you answer that?
Yes, it's just a facade. So we designed it to function while it won't physically be commercial space in a similar manner so that residential activities will be occurring along that street front. There'll be lots of visibility to really activate that space. But correct, it will be residential spaces and spaces in support of the building functions.
Got it. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Alexa, there's no retail. I thought I recall retail is provided in this project.
No, just residential.
Okay, thank you.
I believe Deepa has a hand up. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, I want to know how much funds this project is seeking from city, county, and state, including all the subsidies.
That I think will need to go to our developer.
I'm sorry, I'm taking notes too, but what was the question? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, my question was how much funds and subsidies this project is seeking from city, county, state, basically from the government.
Okay, thank you.
We will pass that along and have to follow up. I know they are receiving funding from tax credit financing for this project, but I'm not clear on exactly what other sources may be a part of that deal. So we'll have to follow up with our developer and get back to you.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
And Alexa, do you have the Stevens or anybody representative of the developers team contact information on here in case we have questions like that? They have somebody to contact.
We could add that, or should they route through you and then you could send them on so that whichever appropriate team member responds to them? What's your preference?
Yeah. Steve, I think earlier we were talking about having everything come through you. So there's one point of contact for everyone and then come back through the city.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Okay. Great.
Okay. It looks like I don't see any new people attending or joining here, and no new hands as well. I don't know if Alexa, you want to wrap up?
Sure. Yeah, just echoing the sentiment Lori shared, on behalf of ourselves and our whole development team, we really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today. We really enjoy engaging the community and, want to make something that everybody's going to be proud of in their neighborhood. So really appreciate all of the questions and comments today, and look forward to moving this forward on its entitlement path to get approval in the future. And again, if there are any follow-up questions, contact information is right here. Feel free to route those through Steve or take a look at the project website. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Just one last note. Yeah, this meeting is recorded, so we will have this video sent to us, and we'll post it on the webpage as well, in case anybody could not attend today. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.